Thank you. Okay, thanks for that introduction, Catherine. So like you mentioned, I'm Anna Barichello, and I'm the manager of the Agile Development Team. The Agile team is a part of the Center for Extended Learning, and one of our priority focuses is to support a blended learning initiative, which includes the design and development of open educational resources. Today, I'm being joined by our Agile team members, which Catherine has introduced. And a little later in the presentation, I will go back and tell you a little bit more about what each of them does and how they can support your OER project. So what does exactly the Agile Development Team do? So we provide instructors with just-in-time, rapid design and development support for online learning materials. And these materials can be as large as fully online courses, where we leverage materials that perhaps you already have built, like during the remote course delivery period. Or if developing under our regular scheduled projects model isn't the best fit for you, we can develop whole courses through our team. We can also support the development of online components of a course. So for example, if you're blending your in-class, in-person course, we can help you with the online components. We can also help create open educational resources, incorporate existing open educational resources, or even help you adapt existing open educational resources to better suit your needs. And we can also help with something as small as a single online module or lesson, or a standalone digital learning object. Again, our team is small but mighty. We work on smaller projects, and we can provide incremental support up to 80 hours. And we accommodate more instructor-independent online design and development work. So what types of design and development services can the Agile team provide to you? We offer instructional design support for your online learning materials. We can also help with open tool options and setup, such as Pressbooks and H5P. We have our learning management system expert here who can help with learn tools and integration. And of course, multimedia consultation and development services in items such as the creation of web pages, images, third-party interactives, custom illustrations and graphic design, custom charts and graphs, video editing, explanative animations, presentation development, simulations, interactives, and much more. So the expertise that we can provide, as I mentioned earlier, we have online learning consultants which provide instructional design expertise in online pedagogy, assessment, and e-learning to advise instructors on the creation of effective online digital learning materials and online learning environments. And here today with us are Daniel and Rachel. They are our online learning consultants. And now from our developers, today we have Antonina with us. And she can help create those multimedia learning materials, interactions, and interfaces. And then finally, we have Tanya with us, who is our learning technologies analyst, and she has expertise in a range of educational technologies and our learning management system, Learn. So how does the Agile team work? You can submit a request through our Teach Online Jira portal. Rachel's going to put that in our chat that you can connect to. Even if you're at the design stage of thinking about your OER, you could connect with us at any time for some advice, some help to build, whatever your online needs are. We are here to help you. A member of our team will respond to your ticket, and we will provide just-in-time support on a first-come, first-served basis. Hey, now I'm going to turn it over to Daniel, who's going to provide some examples of the open educational resources that we have supported already.
Great, thanks, Anna. Yeah, so I'm Daniel Opperwall, as Anna mentioned, one of the online learning consultants with the Agile team. So my usual job is to kind of manage projects through the team as well as provide instructional design support. Rachel does the same work as well. So just depending on the project, we each take care of some of these things. So you should be seeing my screen here. I'm going to show two OERs that Agile team has supported so far. We're getting increasing number of requests on these, which is really great. We love to do them. It's a lot of fun. Both of these have received grant support through the University of Waterloo and were created that way. I just want to step through each of them. What we've got so far. This first one that we'll look at is complete now. The second one is still underway, but you'll get a very clear sense of what's going on there. And I want to kind of detail a little bit where we provided support so you can get a sense of what the Agile team can help you to do. So the first one is the life stories of older adults. I should say, by the way, these are both created in Pressbooks, which is a particular platform that we tend to gravitate towards for a lot of OER projects. The reason for that is that we can host them there, well, for us for free because it's sponsored by eCampus Ontario, which is absolutely great. It makes them very easy to distribute. You just send a link to anybody. People all over the world can access them. So it ends up being a really good platform. It is by no means the only way of creating OERs. There are other ways we can help support that. And we've got a couple other projects using different platforms that I'll mention at the end. But for now, these are both Pressbooks OERs. I am going to do a session on Thursday as well on using Pressbooks for creating your OERs in case it's something you even maybe want to do on your own or with a little bit of support from ADT. It's a pretty easy to use platform, so it's an option there for anybody who's teaching at an Ontario university through eCampus Ontario. So this first one is called Life Stories of Older Adults, Insights on Life and Aging. And this project came out of gerontology through health studies. They wanted to create basically a resource for their own teaching usage, as well as make that available to anyone else who might want to access it. That gives some narratives, some life stories from older adults that can be studied and considered and talked about and reflected on in the course of teaching in the context of gerontology. So the way this project basically went is that their team, the course author team, along with a bunch of students who were working with them, got a hold of their interview subjects, conducted the interviews, taped, videoed those interviews for us, and created kind of all those raw materials. And then we worked with their team to turn it into a kind of coherent, complete OER. So jumping in to actually look at the book here, we just have an intro page. And so support from ADT sort of begins here. We started having conversations about how you want this to be organized, what some of the instructional design strategies are going to be, how we're going to make these materials really useful for your own course as well as anyone else who might want to use them. So worked with the authors on this introduction page, made sure we're covering all the bases in terms of the Creative Commons license and choosing that license and setting up the structure and organization. Worked with them on developing the learning objectives and so on and so forth. And so got that structure in place through those conversations. Now, the next big thing we helped them to accomplish was to refine and set up the media, the actual content for this OER. So as I mentioned, this particular OER is really more video based. We're using Pressbooks here to give it kind of a structure and a place to live. But the heart and soul of this particular OER is in the videos that were created by the students. So these came to us as raw footage of the conversations between the students and their interviewee, and we helped turn them into something like this. So I'll show you just a minute or two of an example here. So we added the splash screen, music, make it look nice and slick and professional. We're very happy with all that.
My name is Jean Skillman, and I am from Ontario, southwestern Ontario. I grew up on a farm south.
I'd love to sit here and just watch Dr. Skillman's interview because it's just fascinating.
Which is southwest of London.
But I'll catch myself a little bit. But you can see just from that quick that quick kickoff that we added that front end splash screen. We added the words that slide in. Sorry, I'm suddenly forgetting the term for that. We add a back end splash screen as well. Just do all that video editing to make it look like a nice professional video. So it's not just raw there. These particular videos are housed in YouTube, which also makes them easy to share. It also works nicely with Pressbooks as a place to host videos. So we did that kind of work for them. Also helped to make sure we're attending to accessibility concerns. So we got transcripts created for this. Since these are open resources, we wanted that highest level of accessibility. Closed captions are available via YouTube itself, and then we provided the transcript as well. And then we also did, working with their team, had a few conversations with them about how to make these materials a little more interactive. And what we've done here is we've used H5P, which is a tool for creating digital interactives that works beautifully integrated with Pressbooks. And actually, the two just work together, like within the same platform. And what we did here is create a series of reflection questions that learners can watch the video and go through. And then they can use this same tool to export those reflection questions over to a document that they can hold with them and use in whatever way the eventual course wants them to use. So the learners will have those in their hand and can bring them to their course. So this is what a page looks like. We have a bunch more of these for all the other interviews, but it's the same basic format. We have an introduction, we have the video, we have the interaction. And the last thing that we then added was some suggestions for discussion and essay activities. So this is, again, more of that design side conversations I was having with them about taking those interactives that we used and giving some suggestions for other users outside of the University of Waterloo or wherever they are for how they might want to use these videos, the kinds of learning activities that might be useful. Obviously, people can do whatever they want with this, but we thought it was helpful to have some suggestions to get the gears turning on how this would be useful. So we helped them with that. Worked through as well copyright issues to the extent that there were any. This was a fairly straightforward project since the videos were all created by the team. So not a ton of copyright problems here, but just things like selecting these images from usable sources and that kind of thing. And then building the Pressbooks page itself was something we also helped with in the case of this OER. That's something that is doable for moderately skilled folks. You could do it on your own, but in this case, we helped to do the build, do the layout. Pressbooks has some limitations, but it's also very easy to use. So it's a very simple layout, and Pressbooks tends to work that way. So this ended up being a great resource. Their team, I know, was thrilled with it. We're very proud of it, and I think it looks lovely. And hopefully we'll get a lot of uptake, and certainly will be useful for their course. The second one I wanted to show you is a little bit of a smaller. We don't actually have a cover done here yet. It's another item we can help you with, designing a nice looking cover. It just isn't quite done on this one yet. The second one is a little more of a targeted OER for really a very specific topic. So what happened here is the professor is going to be teaching this topic anyway, going to be creating some interactive resources for it anyway. And so the idea was, why not open those up to anyone else who might want to use this? I'm going to be doing this work for my own students. Why not open it up to the world, which is a great reason to create an OER. So in this case, again, we're using Pressbooks, and it's a fairly simple but also really important thing that was the heart and soul of this particular OER, which is the interactive graphs. So this professor is in economics. Please don't ask me to explain the actual content here. It's way above my head. I really don't know what's going on, but it's to do with tariffs and making an argument for why in small open economies tariffs are not a good idea. And that's her position. And this is an extended argument using graphs and visualizations to walk you through why that's the case. And so the key thing that she wanted to be able to do and really came to us to do was to create these graphs. So these started off as literally hand drawn, actually, by the professor. And so we first turned them into digital images like this. And then we use a simple but really helpful little H5P interactive here to allow the students, as you can see me doing here, to scroll through and see these graphs as they develop, with teaching materials on the bottom explaining what's going on. And so we helped make that happen, put it into Pressbooks here so it would have a place to live. And you can see, I'll go to the next page, and these graphs will continue to get more and more complex. So we're building these for her as her argument progresses. So now what she has on her hands is something that she can use in her own classes going forward and will use. But we've opened that up so so everyone else can use them if anyone else is interested. So here the key service was these visual layouts and the setting up of this H5P tool for her, and then giving it kind of a place to live. So as I said, these are both Pressbooks OERs, which again is something we very often use and will continue to often use. But we are also currently working on a couple other formats for OERs. We're working on a project right now that is going to result in the creation of some what we call common cartridge modules for the LMS. So that's basically building something in Learn that can then be exported to other LMS systems. That's more of that kind of course type feel, really creating a course itself and actually sharing it with others. That's something we can help work on. Sometimes people are interested in just very simple formats, like a simple PDF OER, but you want it to look good. We can help with that sort of thing. The H5Ps themselves can be used as standalone OER learning objects that can be shared. I don't have the sharing buttons on these, but if you want to create a specific H5P interactive, let's say an interactive graph like this, and you think, this might be useful to all kinds of people, why not have it exist in a format that can be shared? We can help you do that very easily with H5P. So even if it's just a tiny single object, that can sometimes be a really good opportunity to share your work with the world in the format of an OER. So those are the two examples. Hopefully gave you a good rundown there of how we supported those. If you have those kinds of ideas, the things we can do, all the way from the instructional design to the assistance with the actual development of the materials themselves, the videos, the pages, and so on and so forth. And that's what our team is here to do. And that's why we have all these amazing people with amazing skills to help you.